Well, when you go home this week, find out, and that's what we'll start calling you next week. So I went home, and I went to my dad, and I said, Dad, in Hebrew school, they call everybody by their Hebrew names. What's my Hebrew name? He said, I know your brothers. I know your sisters, but I don't remember yours. Oh, man. I was feeling so secure in myself at that time. You just really love me, don't you, Dad? Just call your mother. She'll know. Okay, so I got on the phone. Mom lived in a different state. Got on the phone. Mom, I'm going to Hebrew school. They want to know my Hebrew name. What's my Hebrew name? And you know what she said? I don't know. I know your brothers, and I know your sisters, but yours I don't remember. Oh, jeez. So I go back to Hebrew school, and the rabbi says, so what's your Hebrew name? I don't know. So they gave me one. That's so pathetic. They just made one up for me, slapped it on my head, and that's what they started calling me. 12, 11, somewhere around there. When I'm around 17, 18-ish, I come to faith. Around 20-something, I go off to Bible college. And in Bible college, I took Hebrew because I was studying Jewish stuff. So I had to take 2 years of biblical Hebrew. I met a wonderful woman there who became my wife. I took her home to meet my mom. And I don't know if I took her home before we were married or after. I think it was before. So Mom goes into the closet, pulls out, the baby pictures, all the bribing pictures. She takes out the whole box of all the pictures. Gets to see me in high school with my hair out to here. Oh, one of these days, if we get close, I'll show you. And in the box was my naming certificate, my birth certificate, in Hebrew and English. And so now that I've taken Hebrew again in college, I could read the thing. And I said, oh, cool. I never knew what my Hebrew name was. And I looked at it and I went. And my mom said, what? I said, you're not going to believe this. She said, what's your Hebrew name? And I showed it to Deanne, because she was also taking some Hebrew. I said, does this say what I think this says? She says, I think it does. I said, you're not going to believe this. She said, what's your Hebrew name? I said, you named me Yeshua Chaim. She said, what's that mean? I said, Yeshua is the same name as Jesus, and Chaim means life. You basically named me Jesus is life, or Jesus lives. And she said, huh. She said, is that a common Hebrew name? I said, yeah, Yeshua is pretty common. She said, that is interesting. I said, yeah, it is. The only child in the family who came to faith in Jesus has the name Jesus is life, and the only name that everybody forgot until I could tell my mom what it meant. God still names people today. It's crazy. I'm not saying he does that for everybody all the time, but you think of guys like Thomas, you think of Dr. Jaw, you think about Mr. Ruff, you think about Raphael, and I just got to wonder. I know in the book of Revelation it says everybody's going to get a new name written on a white stone that the Lord himself will give us. So he's going to know you all and call you by name and be pleased with who you are. Well, my mind started spinning because I heard some people do things with names in the Bible before, and I've looked at them and said, hey, you made that up. Maybe somebody who doesn't know any Hebrew will accept that because you said that's what it means, but that's a bunch of nonsense. So I got rid of it, never paid any attention to it again. And here I am in Genesis says, well, why don't I look at the Hebrew names and see what they mean? I already know about Eve, I already know about Adam. And I started looking at the names, and I was doing this again. I found out that not only do some of these names tie the person to their character and destiny, like Eve, like Jacob, like Nabal, but when you string the names together, you get a story. And I'm going to share that with you right now. Let's put up on the screen 1 Chronicles 1. Now, 1 Chronicles 1 summarizes the first 10 generations that are also found in Genesis chapter 5. In Genesis chapter 5, you read about so-and-so had a son, and his son did this and the next thing, and then he had a son, and his son did this and the next thing. These are all those names. These are the first 10. I've got ... here because Noah's sons are mentioned after that. But these are the first 10 generations in human history, strung together, name after name. And they're from Genesis 5. And I looked at each one in Hebrew, and look what I came up with. This is the coolest thing. First, we'll start with Adam. Let's bring up the first click. Now, before I tell you about Adam, I got to tell you something about Hebrew names. Remember I told you Eve was Chava, sounded kind of like Chaya? When they took a name, sometimes they take two words and just put them together, like Melchizedek from last week, Melchizedek, king of righteousness. But sometimes they change the name. And so sometimes the names are like, it could be this or it could be that. Here we are thousands of years later, and we're not certain. It's not a pure science. So I didn't want to get too creative with these. What I did is I took these names and I looked into a lexicon and pretty much went with whatever the lexicon said, with one exception. If the lexicon gave me the root word that the Hebrew came from, I'd look at that word. And if I thought that word had the meaning, that's the word I went with, the original word it came from. That's as far afield as I was willing to go because I didn't want to play games to make this work. I'd rather throw out the sermon and preach on something else than just make it work. So having said that, let me tell you what I came up with. First of all, we're going to talk about Adam. Genesis chapter 2. So the man gave names to all the livestock, the birds of the air, and all the beasts of the field. But for Adam, no suitable helper was found. I looked at this in Hebrew, I looked at this in several English translations, and I underlined these two words because in different translations they do it differently. And here's why. This word in Hebrew and this word in Hebrew are the same word. So it could say, so Adam gave names to all the livestock, but for Adam, no suitable helper was found. It could say that. Or it could say, the man gave names, but for man, no suitable helper was found. It could say that. You getting an idea on what Adam might mean? Let me hear. Man. Let's take a look. Next click. And the next. There we go. Adam means man, and both of these Hebrew words are exactly the same. You can see them. Exact same Hebrew word. All right? And that's interesting because all of you who are male in this room are Adam in one weird sense. No, you're not the first man who ever lived. But in a sense, you're like Adam. You get to make decisions for or against God. You get to raise children, teach them about God. You get to be fruitful and multiply like Adam did. He was the original man. And we're men after him, and we're also named Adam. It's very interesting how God did things. Next click, please. Then the Lord God took some soil from the ground and formed man out of it. This word ground is just like the Hebrew word Adam. Let's take a look at the clicks again. Let me explain to you. The word ground is Adamah. Adam. I put them right one on top of the other. You see, this one looks just like this one looks just like this one. These two look a little different, but they're the exact same Hebrew letter. It's just when it's at the end of the word, it's a final form. Like we start words with capitals, they end words with capitals. So that's just the capital of that. It's the exact same word. The only difference is this has got the, I guess the feminine ending, one might say, for dirt. It's just a different ending. So we have Adam and Adamah. So God says, I'm taking you out of the Adamah, and your name is Adam. I'm taking you out of the soil, and you'll be called soil. So Adam's real name is Dirt Man. That's what his name is. You are dirt. There's a verse in the Bible that says God has mercy and patience with us because he knows we are but dirt, dust. Literally. How many of you have ever taken a multivitamin? Let me see your hands. Have you looked at the ingredients? Niacin, copper, zinc, magnesium, iron. You're dirt. Women, don't laugh too hard. You're from men who are from dirt. You're ribs. God is cool. He made us from dirt. He called us dirt. And even in English, what do we have? We have the word man, and from man comes woman. The tradition has followed through. We're related. We carry the same name. But I'd rather be called man any day than dirt. His name is Mud. All right. Adam means dirt. Adam means man. The Hebrew word for man is Adam. First man, first generation. Now we go to Seth. We go to Seth because Cain killed Abel. Abel's gone. He's not part of the family tree. Cain was evil. He's not part of the family tree. Next good man, Seth. Seth is the next one mentioned. Genesis 4:25. Adam had relations with his wife again. She gave birth to a son and named him Seth. For she said, God has appointed me another offspring in place of Abel, for Cain killed him. Well, the English helps us here. It says, God has appointed me another. Therefore, I name him Seth. Seth means appointed. So Adam means man. Seth means appointed.